Hi everyone, my name is James Rosile. This is Digital Charcuterie, and if you are looking forward to Avengers Infinity War in just a few short weeks, give us a subscribe because we will be covering it from now until then and long afterwards. Joining me today from the Den of Nerds YouTube channel to talk Soul Stone is Joshua Lucas. Josh, thanks for being here. How are you doing today?
You know what? It's a terrible day. I'm really fired up, so I can't wait to talk about this because before we came on camera, I said that I was going to talk about all the things you want to talk about. I'm going to deflect and talk about whatever I want to talk about.
Just before we get into the Soul Stone stuff, there's all the speculation that's going on. Some people, get really upset by it. Some people love it a lot. And I think it's fun to speculate. I think we don't have to guess what a lot of theories are. I know a lot of people think that Iron Man is the Soul Stone, that he was his father's greatest creation. They take that literally, and it's fun. It doesn't have to be real, but it's fun to speculate on things.
Speculation is a part of this game. It is a part of the fun that we have with it. Long before the internet, people were doing this with their groups of friends. Now we get to do it with a bunch of internet friends. That's what it's about. So yeah, I think that it is interesting that Tony has been tied to the Soul Stone in the marketing. What could that mean exactly? I believe that it does have something to do with Tony, but not in the way that a lot of people are kind of thinking right now. The Den of Nerds, go subscribe if you want to know. So in the prequel comic book, which was a two-parter for Infinity War, and it basically has a lot to do, especially the second one, with Wong telling Doctor Strange all about the stones, right? And he talks about the Soul Stone, and I think because Tony had that vision in Age of Ultron, and he had that connection with like the Mind Stone, and something weird happened there where he was given insight into a possible future, something really crazy. Obviously, Tony has a brilliant mind, and so I think that he might have a connection to where the Soul Stone is at. What I believe is that something to do with the Soul Stone is going to be discovered by Tony, and Tony is going to take the kind of like the Space Cadet Avengers, right? Like the Guardians, and I think Doc Strange is going to be there with him, and they're going to go into space, and we've seen them fighting on the planet of Titan, and it is very possible that Tony discovers where the Soul Stone is at, and then is trying to fight to take it or protect it or something. And that's what gets Thanos' attention and takes him sort of off planet. That's kind of where my head is at with it.
So you don't think that Stark starts off with the Soul Stone that's in his possession right away?
No, I do not. But I will say I believe that there's something very strange going on with Tony. And when he touched the Mind Stone and sort of had that vision or whatever, because think about this. Scarlet Witch's powers come from the Mind Stone. They were enhanced from the Mind Stone. There's something going on there. And this all ties to a power that is so great and strong. It's beyond what normal beings are even capable of comprehending. And so when Scarlet Witch gives that vision to Tony, something happened there that was beyond her power, because even she's confused. If you remember that scene where she's like looking around, she's kind of confused. And so I do think something like, okay, so people are not as crazy to think what they are thinking as some others might say that they are, because I believe something happened in that moment. Tony is somehow tapped into that power and has some kind of an awareness about what is going on. I also think it could be interesting if he dies and goes into the soul world or into the Soul Stone instead of like the normal afterlife. And that could be incredibly interesting. So I think that Tony is tied to the gems and to the stones and something like that. But no, I don't think he has it in his chest right now.
Tony Stark, of course, is going to die at the end of this movie or some point in this movie.
Yep, totally. He's gone.
Can you imagine if this ends with Tony and Pepper going off somewhere and just having a poker game? Because, Feige brings that up all the time.
Yeah, I know, right? I would literally tweet at Feige before I left the theater and be like, you friggin' a-hole! 10 years of flawless filmmaking for the ultimate troll. I hate you. Yeah, that would suck.
Let's move on. Let's move on from Tony Stark. Now let's go right into Wakanda. A lot of people think it might be on Wakanda. It might be on the asteroid meteor that came down and hit Wakanda with the vibranium. For me, I'm not really on board with that. I like the idea of just vibranium, but what about you? What do you make of that theory?
So this was sort of debunked by Coogler. He was asked about it in an interview, and he said Wakanda already has its thing. He's like, well, we don't necessarily want to do this. And by the way, this was something that popped into my head a long time ago. I was like, okay, Black Panther, Necropolis, the Afterlife, the lineage of the Panthers. Oh, this would make so much sense if it's the Soul Stone. And the meteorite, when I saw the movie, I was like, oh man, this would be perfect. That's probably the Soul Stone. But then afterwards you realize, well, that kind of takes away from the badassness of Wakanda. It sort of means, oh, okay, you guys are great, but you were only great because a friggin' Infinity Stone just happened to land there. And I don't really necessarily like that. And Coogler said, not only did he say that is not the case, but he said Marvel never intended for the stone to be in Wakanda. And so unless they're lying to us, like straight up lying to us, I do not think that is the case.
Do you think that Thanos goes to Wakanda because of Vision's presence there? Because Vision's there and he obviously needs that stone that Vision has?
Yeah, totally. I think that's definitely why he's there. They might even house other Infinity Stones there. I think all the Avengers are going to end up there, and they're all going to have the Infinity Stones. And I think the way that the first one ends is Thanos just coming in after his army defeats everybody. He goes through like the final line of defense, and he just rips the stone out of Vision's head. He takes it from Doctor Strange and leaves them. He doesn't even defeat them. He just leaves them there. There's nothing they can do. He's at this point, he's an omnipotent god. And so there's nothing they can do to stop him. And so I think that they might just literally leave them in Wakanda and he just pieces out. That would be crazy.
Do you think of that shot in the trailer of Captain America holding down Thanos? It's like his glove, like that is pretty cool and everything. But do you think that is that they digitally removed the stones from that shot?
Yeah, they probably did, yeah. But I would say this. I would say even without a single stone, as far as my comic book knowledge is concerned, Thanos would be able to just decimate Cap. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Cap's super strong. But, nah, man. Thanos is real strong.
I don't think that... I think Cap is going to bite it at some point, but I don't think that's a shot where he's going to bite it in whatsoever.
I think he dies right then and there.
You think they would show that in the trailer?
Dude, well, they didn't show us anything, really. They showed him struggling. And here, spoilers for everybody. This is how the rest of that goes. He continues to move the hand, grabs his head, and then pop. Check out this sound. That is going to be the sound of Captain America's head popping like a grape.
It just ends with blood splattering everywhere, like in Braveheart, when just blood everywhere.
Yeah, like you went 10 years in the MCU, not a lot of blood, happy endings, and then just a murder, like Tarantino-style blood streams just squirting out just everywhere. That's the way you do it. That's the way you sell some toys. Right.
Okay, moving on. Do you think there's any chance that maybe Thanos does not get all of the stones in this film? That maybe he gets them in Avengers 4. Avengers 4 is where it all kind of comes to an head. Do you think that's possible, that the Soul Stone won't even be in Infinity War? But
James, it's like Pokemon. You got to catch them all. And so, honestly, though, to be serious, that is actually a viable option. I wouldn't mind that at all, because you leave like another MacGuffin sort of for the last film, like something that he's still looking for, a reason that he hasn't completely won, which is very interesting. I tend to believe, just as a storyteller, that he will assemble the completed gauntlet in the first film, and they will leave us at a place in the end of the third one where we're like, dude, how in the hell could they ever compete with that? How are they going to defeat him? It doesn't even make sense, because that's part of the fun of the Thanos Quest storyline in general. The Avengers go out and find him in the middle of the universe. He's just on this throne, and he's like barely paying them any mind. And so it's a very interesting conflict, and I think that they'll sort of do a version of that in the fourth one. But we're hearing stuff that, like, the writers are saying, even if you're a big comic book fan, you will have no idea what happens in Avengers 4. It's going to surpass all of your expectations and everything that you think could happen. So I don't know. I do think the Soul Stone being left for 4 is an okay option. I wouldn't be completely mad about it, but at the same time, I tend to believe that they'll get it.
They're coming out here and they're saying, though, that we don't know what to expect, that I won't know, that you won't know, that nobody knows what to expect from Avengers 4. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, they can look. First of all, that means please go see Avengers 4. That's what that means. But also, I don't think that it's 100% accurate. So, look, it depends. We're talking about a movie that's the part 2 to a movie we haven't even seen yet. So it's really, really hard. But I'll say this. I mean, I will definitely be speculating and trying to figure out where I think it is going. I already have an idea, or at least some of an idea, especially the fact that Captain Marvel is going to play a big role in the fourth one. I think you're getting a version of this galactic coalition. I think the Skrull, the Kree, the Shi'ar, maybe all sorts of other alien races are going to come together, form a coalition, and they're going to go attack Thanos. And you're going to see Thanos, just one dude, literally fighting like an armada of ships, of like Star Wars meets Marvel. Because look, they're drawing so much from the Hickman comics. I think that's what they're going to do, plus multiverse jumping. You know what I mean? So that's sort of where I think it's going to go.
So you think that Captain Marvel will appear in the end credit scene?
Hell yeah. And it's going to be her and Nick Fury. And it's going to be an homage to the first post-credit scene, and it's going to be incredible. By the way, if that does come to pass, all of your subscribers have to give me some money or something. I don't know.
Wait, so you think it's going to take place in the 90s?
No, I'm talking about now. The post-credit scene will be literally Earth's devastated. Everyone, like the Avengers and stuff, are just hanging out. Uh-oh, there's some troublemakers over here. And basically, the post-credit scene will be Sam Jackson rolling up with Carol Danvers and being like, hey, I heard you guys just got your ass kicked. Here's the muscle.
All right, let's move on. Adam Warlock. I think Adam Warlock has a stone, is associated with the stone. You think that's going to play out in any way, or they're going to stay away from Warlock in at least Infinity War and Avengers 4?
Well, they're doing something different with him than the comics, so probably not. But there was a hint in the Prelude comic that the Soul Stone may well be the most powerful of all the Infinity Stones. And originally, they were all referred to as Soul Stones. Way back in the day, before they changed them to like the power, the reality, the time, and the mind, they were all known as Soul Stones. So there's something to that. Also, shameless plug for a huge video that I'm working on. I have a theory about what happened to Thanos' planet. It has to do with the Celestials, and I think we were teased it in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. There's a famous Easter egg that James Gunn told people that it's a big Easter egg, and nobody's found it. And it's been like 4 years since that movie's come out. Nobody's found the Easter egg. I think I found it.
Definitely going to keep my eye out and look forward to that one.
For sure.
Josh, thanks so much for being here. And until next time, guys, ciao for now.